Lovely. Hello Piscator pals, and welcome to another episode of The Passionate Piscator. I followed my directions to get here from a friend. They were fine. I got lost a couple of times. But I'm here today in Newbury, going to fish the River Lambourn. Now, I used to live fairly local to Newbury when I lived in Basingstoke, and for some reason, I had no idea this bit of river existed. Well, it's not entirely true. I knew it was here. I've looked at it often enough when driving past it with an everyday angler, Aaron. But I had no idea it was free to fish. So I'm going to give it a go. Apparently, it's a bit tricky, especially if you don't have any like chest waders or something like that, which I do, but they're back in Bristol, not here. So I'm going to give it a go. I've got my trusty centre pin and my lovely river rod, nice long river rod, 15 foot is it? I believe it is, it doesn't say, but it is. So it should get out to the water I need to get to. Not really sure what to expect here, having had a look at the river. Try saying that 3 times fast. Having had a look at the river, it looks trouty, it looks maybe graylingy, but there's bound to be a few other fish in here. It is tricky, apparently, so it might be one of those rare videos where I actually catch nothing at all. Actually, I quite often catch nothing at all. Spoilers, but I don't usually post them. But this is worth a post, I think. It's a lovely bit of river, and even if I catch nothing, you'll be seeing this, I imagine. Anyway, I've got to set this up. Can't catch fish without a rod set up, so there's no time like the present. Let's get going. I can see with the power of these Polaroids that it's already going to be a bit tricky. The water is quite shallow, which is perfect for things like trout, things like that. But makes it a little tricky for getting into the water where I think the fish are going to be. I think the fish are going to be along the glides where it's a little bit deeper. And unfortunately, they're the other side of the river, and I've got a centre pin and can't cast that far. I can already see maybe the benefit of maybe bringing some chest waders or something like that to get to the areas you want to get to. But I'm happily gliding along these inside lines. In fact, I can see a fish right there. That's another problem, is right above me, there's a whole bunch of trees. Completely ignored that. I think it's a little trout. I think what I've got to do is use some of these little red maggots to gain his confidence a little bit more. He's still just a little bit wary, but a fish is a fish, and I've got 2 fish feeding there now. It'd be nice if I could get one of them. That's what I'm going to do. First of all, untangle that float. I've got a bit of a tangly float situation. It's a bit knit 1 pearl 2 here today because of the overhanging trees, but it's fine, we'll get there. Once you get your eye in, you'll be alright. First fish of the day is a teeny tiny minnow. How about that? Still, a fish is a fish. I'm never disappointed. But when you're fishing a bit of river you've never fished before, it's brand new to you, it's interesting to see the different species. I'm certain there was a few stray maggots have been falling down in the margins, and I'm certain I saw a bullhead buzzing around down there. Whether they were taking the maggots or not, I don't know. But the way it scooted across the bottom, you know, and it looked a fair size. I mean, I'd love to catch one of them. If I see one down there again, I might pop one down. There are a few minnows down there too, but I think having missed a trout, it scared them all off. So I mean, I'm tempted just to move along, but I'll give it one last cast and I'll move to a different swim and see what else is about. But it's going to be quite a visual day today. I think I'll be able to see a lot of the fish that I'm trying to target, any of the bigger ones anyway. Just pop into the swims where it looks likely. It looks likely actually that a lot of these swims are going to be covered with trees. So it's going to be a bit tricky. I'm going to lose a few floats today, I know I am, or break a bit of line. But that's all part of the fun. Bit of exploring. Place I've never been to before. Don't know what's in it. Don't know how to fish it. And today I'm going to learn. It's all about learning. That was lucky. The one last cast turned into a little trout, a little brown trout. There we are. Gorgeous. I knew there was a few trout in there. I could see them. I knew they weren't big, but beautiful nonetheless. Look at the colours and the spots of that trout. Wonderful. Right, let's pop you back, see if we can catch a few more. Just having a quick stroll up the river, piscators, and I think what we've got here, if I can zoom in a little bit, is what they call a red, like a trout red. Now it's really hard to see through the camera. I've got Polaroids on, so it's a little bit easier to tell, but there's like a, if I get my finger out, sort of a white disturbed bit of gravel right there. Probably see it better like that. Can you see that? Now, I can see, maybe you can't, but I can certainly see, but in the, right there, that sort of darker shape, it's really hard to see, is actually a trout. It's sat right in the centre of it. Earlier on, as I was walking up, there was a much larger trout, big male fish, and I think that's probably a female, and that, I believe, is a red. It's a little breeding area for trout. What they do is they disturb the gravel and make a little sort of hollow, and right in there is soon to be, or it certainly is, a breeding fish. Lovely brown trout. I can see her in there now. Now I'm not going to fish for her. She's busy doing other things. She's busy repopulating the river, but I'm going to keep an eye out for any more reds that I can see on this little stretch of the River Lambourn. Absolutely fantastic. Here's a beautiful bit of river. Curves around nicely around the corner there. Just hit some fast water at the end. But of course the downside is I can't actually get to the water. I'm going to need to be right out over there. And by the time I get there, the water's going to be up here. It's really shallow there in the distance as I walk past. In fact, a bit further on from there is where I saw the trout there in their little red. But yeah, it's too far to get out to. Perhaps if I had a proper sort of spinning spool reel, I could cast a float out there. But then how do I get the fish in? I don't want to have to damage the fish. The ground's pretty muddy and silty, but it's still fantastic to look at. What an amazing stretch of river. It's glorious being out here. It's a really cold day, and it is really glorious being out along the side of the river. There's been lots of people running through and people with dogs. Yeah, everyone's enjoying the day. There's actually another little bit of river. I don't know if this bit's free to fish. I mean, I imagine so. Just down here, it's more like a little side stream or a little carrying stream. I'll have a look in there. But today's really more about exploring and finding out about this new venue. I'm learning stuff. I'm learning stuff already, but there's plenty of trout in here. So a few minnows. I haven't seen any roach or rudd. I've maybe seen a bullhead, but just getting an idea for what's in here. I mean, there might be a few grayling. Every chance of a few grayling. If I can see them, I'll certainly target them. These are essential. You can see the bottom fairly clearly. You can spot the fish, particularly the bigger ones. But I think also what I've learned so far, I haven't really fished it properly yet, is I need some chest waders to get in there get closer to the water. There again, there's bound to be a bit more around the corner. I haven't discovered it all yet. I never know what's around my next river bend, and that's just fantastic. It's one of the joys of being out and about. You don't even need to have a rod in your hand to be able to do this, of course, but it's even, you know, when you come out and you're like, I'm going to go out and I'm going to walk up the canal, or I'm going to go along the river and just have a little look, see what's going on. Those are the days, as we all know, those are the days that you spot that big fish and you're like, oh, if I had my rod on me, I could have caught that fish. But today I do, so I can. Anyway, I could stand here and look at this little stretch all day long, despite the traffic going past behind me. But I really must carry on upstream and see what else, still other little magical corners this river, River Lambourn, can unlock for me. The classic shopping trolley. Even the most beautiful looking rivers can have a shopping trolley in them. A bench provided. Nice. Well, is it nice? I always roll my eyes whenever I see like a bench or a nice table like this. As an angler anyway. I mean, they put them in, of course, so people can sit here and enjoy the beautiful river as it rolls past. A nice little thing for the community and a nice place for people to sit. But of course, putting a feature in like this into this space, it does bring the people, and the people love to litter. Oh man, do human beings love to wreck stuff. I mean, there's a lovely fallen tree here. I'd love to fish this swim, but I'm not going to. It just looks horrible. You've got bits of bag and bits of metal and bottles and bits of, oh, it's just a wreck. Bottles all caught in amongst the trees. Such a shame. You put something in nice for people and they just ruin it, don't they? What a shame. But hopefully as I move on upstream I can leave this little area of disaster behind me and find some more beautiful spots. Let's hope so anyway. Not the most picturesque of spots, but come on, I can't walk past this, can I? There's bound to be some fish underneath a road bridge, surely. Okay, so what I'm going to do with this swim is, the water's actually flowing through very, very quickly. But what I'm actually going to do is just stand here for a bit and just chuck in a little bit of maggot to them, just every now and then. Hopefully trying to build up a few fish moving in. Now my eyes have adjusted thanks to my polarized sunglasses. I can see more or less to the bottom. I mean, all this area here is completely clear. A few bits of weed and twigs and logs and stuff, but I can see them. It's fairly deep and fairly far. Just where this tree is here, there's a load of roots there, which I'm going to have to make sure that I cast out far enough to get away from them. And unfortunately, that's exactly where the water flows to, right near them. I'm going to see if I can see anything moving. I can see things moving, just in the edges down here. There are minnows and all sorts of small fry. In fact, here you are. With a few little tasty morsels. It's quite fun just doing that, even if you're not intending to catch them, because you can drop a single maggot in, see it go down, and then gone, disappear. You can't necessarily see the fish, it took it, but you know they're there. Well, not a sausage by that bridge. I've just come to this little footbridge here, and I found some fish. Problem is, I'm fishing all the way down there, and the fish are all the way over here. However, I found a solution to that problem. and that is to feed the fish here, catch the fish here, and then land the fish over there. Could be utter madness, but we'll give it a go. But there's quite a few fish in the swim now. Some trout and other species I can't make out. First fish I catch or miss, I'm going to spook the whole lot. So this is sink or swim. See how it goes. But you wouldn't believe the quantity of fish there are in that swim. Loads of trout, big trout too. This is only a tiny one. I couldn't see any. Well, actually, I thought I saw one grayling. What I did see was lots of beautiful trout like these. Beautiful brown trout. Oh, a bit jumpy still. There we go. Look at that. Magnificent. But they wouldn't take it. They wouldn't take that bait. Oh, anyway, I'm going to pop this back straight away. One last look at the camera. Beautiful. You wouldn't believe how many fish were there, as I was saying. So many fish the other side of that bridge, but they just were not taking the maggots. Well, they were. I was sprinkling plenty in and they were coming up and taking them, but every single one of those fish knew that my hook was in a couple of red maggots floating through. Whether it's because I wasn't presenting them well enough, drifting them through, I thought well, perhaps I'm going a bit too fast, perhaps I'm going a bit too slow, perhaps I'm too deep, perhaps I'm too shallow. I tried everything, and in the end I had a little moment to myself and I was like, it's probably because I'm using 2 maggots on the hook. So I took a maggot off, threaded the next maggot on so it hid the hook, and a couple of drift through and I was into a trout. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I was speaking to a guy who was wandering around just asking how I was doing and what fish I was catching and how many fish, etc. And he has lived around this area for ages, and he didn't get a chance to do it last year because of the wind and the rain and the floods we had through here. But he's been around and he checks all the time on how many fish reds there are here. He said you get quite a lot. He gets his polarized sunglasses and he just goes along and he watches and counts how many there are. And he's been along this little stretch of River Lambourn here in Newbury, and today anyway he counted 23 reds with fish on. 23, and that's quite amazing, really. I mean, we're in the middle of a park. If I drift you around that way, in the middle of a park, there's people here, there's dogs jumping in the water, you know, it's pretty urban fishing. But the river and the fish don't care. Things have to be done. Life finds a way, as Dr. Ian Malcolm would have said, and the fish are just doing what they do best. Anyway, I found this nice little, I'll just show you it briefly, nice little glide through here. It's really shallow, so I won't spend too much time here. Can't see many fish, but what I'm going to attempt to do, there's like a little tree island thing formed there where it's fallen over. I'm going to attempt to get onto that to get out to the river a bit better. It's incredibly shallow. I don't know if you can see the bottom. Yeah, you can. Look, you can see the chalk laying on the bottom of it. That's how shallow it is. I have a feeling if there were any fish I could have seen them, but fish hide pretty well, don't they? So I'm going to hop over there, hopefully not fall in, and just trickle a few maggots and do a bit of trotting. Let's see if there's any fish in this swim. But the answer to were there any fish in that swim was yes. Lots of little tiny trout. Caught 3 of them, and I was trying to go for some of the minnows down in above the edge of the roots there, and I saw a different species of fish which I haven't caught yet, and I couldn't help but whoosh my net through and grab one. Well, actually, I've got two, so I'll show them to you now. It's going to have to be a really quick shot because they're only very small and they shouldn't be out of water too long. But there we go, two tiny little bullheads. Whoop. Beautiful. I love a mini species and I absolutely adore a bullhead. But let's get these back into the water because I'm sure my hand, by comparison, is absolutely roasting. And of course, I couldn't resist another sweep through for a proper bullhead. Look at that. Hi. Magnificent. A thriving river. Absolutely stunning. Right, let's get you back as well to your little babies. Brilliant. Lovely little bullhead. Just go to show, fish underneath your feet you don't even know are there sometimes, and that's a good lesson for all of us really, particularly for like anglers that specifically, I know you know who you are, who specifically are out there catching one species of fish, usually carp anglers, but you have, you know, barbel, perch, pike anglers. There's loads of species. Celebrate what we have. There's so many species we have in our rivers and in our oceans, and they need to be just all preserved and appreciated for what they are. Good tip, of course, is if you are fishing on the river and you just want your species count to go up a little bit, it's always worth just sweeping your net through the margins, because you never know what could be in there. You could be bullhead in there like there were today. You could get little stickleback or stone loaches, all manner of little tiny teeny fishes that most people ignore, but not the passionate piscator guys. He loves them, absolutely loves them. Anyway, keep on moving up. I think I'm actually exhausted. I spent more time feeding the fish today than I have actually catching them, but that was kind of the feeling of today, was to just explore what we've got going on here. I've been told by another angler who's come around that there are some grayling across the other side there. However, they are impossible to get to. They've picked the only spot on the river that you cannot cast a rod to. But I might just delve in amongst these reeds. There's a lot of reeds all along that bank along there, and see if I can spot them myself as well, because I'd love to see some grayling, even if I don't catch any. But we can give it a go. The birds are certainly active over there, so there must be something going on. Anyway, onwards and upwards. Day is coming towards an end now, so I'd like to get as far to the end of the stretch as possible to really see what the Lambourn is and what it's got to offer. From another stunning swim, another stunning little brown trout. Oh, got a bit of poop on your bum. Let's clean that. Look at that. What a lovely, lovely fish, and just on light gear, a few maggots. Very, very welcome. Gorgeous. Right, let's get you back in that water. There's a truly magnificent glide here, coming off this corner and curling around and pushing that way. It's beautiful. It's bound to hold a lot of fish, but I'm not going to fish it. I'll show you the swim, I'll show you how good it is, and I'll show you why I'm not fishing it. Here it is, comes down off of here. You've got a beautiful little crease, sorry for the blurring, little bit of crease coming along here. It hits this bank here and swirls its way off downstream. A beautiful glide down there, look. Absolutely stunning. It's quite deep as it comes off this edge. What an absolutely perfect looking swim. So why am I not going to fish it? Well, I have a 15-foot rod, and to be fair, it doesn't matter what length of rod I've got, but directly above me is, you can see it, a cable. What a shame. What a place to put it. Look, right above my head. With all the best will in the world, as much as I really want to fish that, I'm not getting tangled up with any of that. Well, I've reached the spot where an angler, lovely angler, told me that the grayling usually hang out, if there are going to be any grayling. Now, I've been watching for a little bit. There is a fish over there, but I don't know if it's a grayling. It's a little bit too far away. Could be a trout. If it is a grayling, it's a donkey grayling. If it is a trout, it's a good trout. But I can see why he said to me that the chances of you getting one out of or anyone out is very slim. As you can see over in the distance, that the river goes right underneath all these twigs, and as you can see here, that the river actually is the far bank is right over there, and all of this is fallen in bushes. In fact, they're growing in it mostly, but they've mostly fallen in, and that's obviously where they're going to be hiding, isn't it? Underneath all of that. You can still fish this bit here. It's very rapid, it's very close in, and in fact I still will give it a little glide. It looks, I can see the bottom, and there's a lot of twigs, which is well, maybe I won't. There is a lot of detritus on the bottom, but I don't know, perhaps a braver angler would give it a go. I'm running out of hook lamps, so I've already lost 2, so I don't want to risk it for a biscuit. There is a good fish there. If that's a grayling, that's a good grayling. He's easily bigger than a pound. Could even be pushing 2 pounds. No, the end of the beat, incidentally, is up there where that little panel boarding is. In fact, I can show you. Let me get out of here. There we go. Let's give a look. Yeah, that's the sort of beginning of people's gardens. And you better believe I'm fishing this really long trotting swim here. I'm going to go right up by that fence, and I'm going to fish all the way down here, whilst creeping along so as not to scare the fish away. And if my float should happen to drift into the very beginnings of this swim with that big trout or grayling or whatever it is, then so be it, you know, so be it. That's how simple it is. That was the first fish. Just sprinkling maggots in. Perfect. First fish, first trot. Magnificent. What a gorgeous, gorgeous brown trout. Wonderful. Happy with that. River Lambourn, eh? What a river. Last fish of the day. Another little brown trout. These guys have been beating me up all day. I lost quite a few down that stretch, but this one, he didn't get away from me. Let's pop you back into the river, which is just here. And gone. Gone like a rocket. Perfect. Oh, covered in slime. What a day, exploring a brand new river, the River Lambourn, which has been underneath my nose this whole time, living near Basingstoke. Here, sort of very close, sort of into Newbury. Absolutely fantastic. I've really enjoyed it. Perhaps I expected a few more coarse fish, maybe some roach and dace, but I know they were in here. People have been talking about them being in here. But I did catch the minnows. I never turn down minnows. And of course, for lovely little bullheads. But the trout have really been the thing of the day, and looking at the river, it being shallow and quite fast and a little bit chalky, it's perfect for trout, absolutely perfect for them, as I hope I've proved. Brilliant. Anyway, I'm looking forward to coming back here again sometime in the future. I've learnt a lot today. It's really been about exploring and learning all about this river, and I've learnt so much. I've learnt about a pair of chest waders wouldn't go amiss. I've learnt that maggots are absolutely perfect, but maybe I'd like a little bit of bread, maybe some worms, something like that to accompany me. Maybe even sort of ledgering, something like that. But if in doubt, I know that the good trusty, good old stick float, doing a bit of long trotting, just wins the day. Absolutely fantastic. River Lambourn, yes please. And it's completely free, as long as you have your rod license. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me. Hopefully I will see you sometime on the bank in the future, maybe not with trout, maybe with something else. But if you've liked this video, give it a like, subscribe to the Passionate Piscator YouTube channel, and I will see you next time on the bank. Bye!